the more chaos is released when that axiom is challenged. You get a negative emotional response to that, with there's anxiety and threat, because God only knows what happens when all hell breaks loose. But there's a positive aspect too. That's why it's a dragon and a treasure always in the hero mythology. It's because when all hell breaks loose, there's immense opportunity. And that's part of the meaning. Now, I think you capitalize on that treasure, let's say, on the treasure portion of that chaos by assuming something like your own ignorance, by allowing your initial preconceptions to die, and by tracking the trail of deep and insistent questioning. So now your questioning took the place, if I've got it right, you basically took the scientific tack, hey? Is that right? Because you're...
Yeah, well, I'm trying to understand the truth of the universe. Physics is essentially study of the truth of the universe, at least those things that are predictable. So
when I resolved my existential crisis, which happened about the same time yours did, I didn't study science precisely. I wasn't as interested in the transformations of the material world. So I'm probably more people-oriented than thing-oriented temperamentally. So I started to study evil. Right?
Okay.
So that was my delving into the depths, because I wanted to crack that. I wanted to understand if it not so much even whether it existed, because I became convinced of that very quickly, but what exactly that had to do with me. Because when I was reading history, I read it as a perpetrator and not as a victim or a hero.
I mean, I try to read history to discern the facts of what humans did. You know, so...
That also has shaped the way that you act, though.
Probably, sure. I've read a lot of history. And I try to understand the rise and fall of civilizations. And
what do you think makes them fall?
Well, one of the things is a decreasing birth rate, which seems to be a natural consequence of prosperity.
Isn't that strange, eh? Because you'd kind of predict the opposite, wouldn't you?
As far as I know, every civilization that has experienced prosperity has had a decline in population. There may be a few exceptions. Perhaps people can enlighten me. I'll look at the comments on this interview to see perhaps what I can learn. But it seems that from what I've read, almost every civilization, when they become prosperous, their birth rate drops.
You think that's a consequence of the emergence of something like a non-punished hedonistic egocentrism?
Well, obviously, you mean there's certainly many examples of civilizations. They become prosperous. There is generally a trend towards hedonism.
Yeah, well, you can get away with it if you're wealthy, eh? Because the consequences of your foolishness don't smack you on the head instantly.
Precisely. So, if you're